and it's because of my principles. I have no apologies, I have nothing to discuss with him, and that's just me. So I want to insist that I have not met, I have not talked to him, not because I hate him, but because there is no discussion between me and him. I'm also one of those members who have stood against the broad-based government, and I still stand against it. Of course, I've gone beyond my party position because of the values and the principles that we believed in. Dennis, we had a meeting with you at Sarova the other day. We had a good discussion on the public debt. I went to Parliament, I met Karoli Omondi, who is here, and he told me, let's meet at Serena on Tuesday at 7:30. And that's why I came here. I didn't know about Okoa Uchumi, I didn't know about I thought I'm meeting him for a cup of tea. So when I came in and I saw Dennis, and Dennis is telling me, in fact, you are going to have an opening remarks now, surely. I was not prepared for it, but nevertheless, this is the room that I belong in. I think there are few members of parliament you can call for such a meeting and they appear. It's because parliament, we are being accused by, we've been at the center of what is bad in this country. But what you don't know that also inside that parliament, they're just good people. The way the parliament was designed, that the majority have their way and the minority can have their say, I think that was the beginning of everything. Because however much you speak, and when a vote is taken, and they are the majority, then nothing much you can do. You can speak and speak. I think the makers of our constitution, constitutional democracy, maybe we need to relook at the executive, parliament, the judiciary, the interlink, the balance. Because when you have a parliament that is like an extension of an executive, then it becomes hard to oversight the same executive. But Dennis, I'll just have one word. You allow me to leave for the meeting that I had spoken to you about, but I will come back once the meeting is done, because I want to listen. I want to get wisdom, so that when we have the power to talk, we talk out of knowledge. Like today, I just learned that Kenya debt at the moment stands at 12 trillion, both the domestic and the external. I didn't know that. I have just been telling you, I think we need to revalue Kenya as a country. Otherwise, we might be overborrowed beyond the capacity of Kenya in terms of the assets standing. I have one person who has also believed that Kenya needs to get out of the yoke of World Bank and the IMF, because these were recovery strategy for Europe post-World War. If you look at how World Bank came, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. The purpose of it was to reconstruct Europe post-World War II, where 44 countries met in Washington Hotel in New Hampshire, Bretton Woods, to discuss recovery of Europe post-war. How did that recovery plan, through George Marshall, and later called the Marshall Plan, how did that recovery plan become an economic development for the third world? How? Up to date. I'm one person who believes that this World Bank and IMF that we keep on depending on, we need to look at it. I know it is disturbing some status quo, but nevertheless we must speak about it. Some of us, we don't fear anything. We only fear God na ujimoto. Some people, when I speak, wananiambia uogopi baba atakasirika. Namwambia he never brought me to politics, so aya kasirika aende na huko. We must speak for the country. So I also believe that this country, we must speak openly. There is a generation that fought for independence. They fought against anti-colonialism. They fought British, and independence we got. There is a generation that fought for multipartyism, against one-party rule, and multipartyism we got. There is a generation that fought for new constitutional order, devolution. We have devolution, we have new constitutional order. I believe it is this generation's duty. We have a cardinal duty to fight for fourth liberation, which is economic emancipation. That is the work of this generation. Every generation has risen up and done what needed to be done at that particular time. It is upon us as a generation to rise up and do what needs to be done today. What needs to be done today is economic renaissance. That's why I keep on saying Kenya needs a renaissance. A renaissance was a period in Europe that transformed everything. And I dare say that countries that were at par in terms of economic level, like Asian countries, they do not have the oil. They do not have the natural resources. They are a heterogeneous society, just like Kenya. They have tribes. They have regional conflicts. They were colonized by the British the way we were colonized. So what made them become first world and you were left? Because they were institutionalized. Institutional bureaucracy. We need to have institutional bureaucracies that are working. ESCC, judiciary, DCI, that are working. They worked on the education system. The education system in this country is chaotic, is a pandemonium approach. They worked on value addition from the agriculture and textile. And they attracted the global flow of income through making it a corruption-free. That's where the Kenya needs, and we get out of the debts. And then there is one segment of the problems of the debt that you may not mention. It's called the pending bills. Pending bills in this country is an illegal debt. Because if you have people, constructors who have like billions of shillings in pending bills running for almost 5 years, that is an illegal debt. So pending bills is actually an accumulated on top of the debts we are paying. It is an illegal debt. We have Article 223 of our Constitution that has been abused and raped by the executive, where that the executive can spend money that has not been appropriated by Parliament because of unforeseen circumstances pending approval of the Parliament. And I want to say, as I finish, that the executive has used that article to spend money illegally. Because there is an agency that appeared before my committee, which had spent 2 billion Kenya shillings to construct an hospital under Article 223. Then I asked them, what was so urgent about construction of a project? As much as it's an hospital, was it urgent? They say it's because it's an hospital. That is an abuse of that article. That article is expressly in terms of emergency. Building an hospital is not an emergency. It is something you can plan for. And the executive has abused this article. It is spending money outside parliamentary approvals. With those few remarks, I know the lady is approaching me. Naweza endelea na damu imeanza kuchemuka. Wacha nimalizie hapo. Okay. I will stop there, and I beg for permission to leave. I'm really part of this.